Okay, projection. So, hello.
Hi.
First question is, who are you?
Hello, my name's Marcus.
You can expand if you want, or
Hi, my name's Marcus Campbell. I've been living in Bristol for 12 years. Came here only because I wanted to live in Bristol. And after being here for about a month maybe, I heard about the Cube and came here. Yeah.
what was your first experience
Of the Cube Cinema.
Yeah.
I wanted to do some kind of music activity workshop type things for anybody that'd be willing to have a go and try stuff out. So I hadn't actually been to an event here. I first of all came here to chat to somebody. So I rang them up and somebody said come round, and I'm not even sure if I got their name. And I remember distinctively it was a sunny autumn, one of those amazing sunny Bristol afternoons in, I don't know, October or something like that. And I was sort of, the entrance of the Cube in those days was really different. It was actually on King Square itself, and you had to go down the side of a Chinese restaurant, and on one side was a kitchen, and on at the first, just as you came up the steps and went to the main entrance, I think there was a restaurant, like a dining room on each side, and sometimes there'd be some very unusual smells, and that was the first thing that always hit me, was the really unusual smell. I mean, the Cube still has got its amazing atmosphere and smell now, but it's, in those days you'd be greeted with the sort of smell of the Orient first, which is just completely bizarre and weird, and then you'd go through this corridor, there were the double doors, and then I remember the reception room, which was like a sort of, I'm not even sure if there was a bar there then, it was bright orange, and I just remember liking it. And I remember knocking on the doors opened, and well, they didn't open, Cheers came to the door and opened the door, and he was just like very welcoming and friendly, and that was my first experience of the Cube really. And then subsequently went to lots of different events of all sorts of descriptions after them.
That's great. Well, there's a question here that is, how did you come to be involved? I don't know whether that's, or like you were saying about
I was
helping
involved
out
more
with
then, not now. Yeah, I sort of helped out. Well, I had my own idea of what I'd like to do with sort of like a music workshop type thing, which we did for a few weeks, and it kind of worked and kind of didn't work, so we stopped doing it. And then I got involved with performing here and stuff, but not necessarily to do with the organisation, more to do with just doing stuff here on the stage, I suppose.
and the rock wall.
Of course. Yeah, that's right. So there's a guy who used to work who had a lot. Was he a trustee or part of the management committee, or I'm not exactly sure on the structure of the Cube, but a guy called Julian with the amazing eyebrows. I don't know if you're watching this, Julian, but you asked me if I'd help to put loads of rock wool and sound insulation, because there used to be lots of bother with the local residents about the volume from the Cube, especially the bass. I think used to resonate somehow, and the theory was if you put loads of rock wool above the auditorium, then that will stop the sound. So one very sunny afternoon I went inside a very boiling hot attic, it's an auditorium space. It was about 3 foot deep, and I had to sort of crawl along amongst the dust and put loads of itchy, horrible rock wool across the sort of rafters. I did a little bit and then didn't come back, and I didn't do any more, so sorry about that.
Have you got a particular standout memory of, or you know, a particular event or thing?
I can think of a few. This year was, last autumn, the Moonflowers got back together again and did a brilliant gig.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice reunion gig, and it had a really nice sort of Cube family vibe, which was just really sweet. I once played here for a birthday party and played some slide guitar in between acts. That was good fun. I remember that really well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
and another thing, I remember a show with two guys, and they had a video going all the way around Bristol in a car, and then the sort of video camera went up the side of the cube and then to the top of the cube, and then all of a sudden, as part of the audience, this, I think, piano might have come down at the ceiling. Was that right?
No, we just came down on the
You came down on ropes.
on the ropes, yeah,
Stolliff and Hopkinson.
and got stuck.
Yeah, was that intentional?
No,
Yeah, that was great. That was fantastic. That was one of the early memories. Earlier,
yeah, it was,
mid to early. I saw a guy called Paul play here, electronic producer, play here on one Friday evening, and that was absolutely outstanding as well. Loads of great memories.
yeah. What is the cube?
I think you can make the cube what you want it to be. I think it's such an open resource, and there's something about the cube that says to me, if you really want to do something, then you can make it happen here. And the ethos and the vibe that I get from people, everybody who's worked here and sort of greeted me at the door, I've always got that sort of feeling that if it isn't happening, then you can make it happen here. Or this very encompassing community feel thing that before Stokes Croft was the Stokes Croft that it's known as now, the cube was here first, and the cube was generating that alternative culture and really keeping it going in a very strong way before it was written on the walls and really obvious and visual and sort of just there and as accessible as it is now. So it's like it was always there underground. It's just brilliant. I'd be so pissed off if it went. I'd be really sad. But then I'd also be like, well, I didn't come enough. So, but every time I do come, I'm never disappointed. Yeah.
Have you got one word for that sort of soundbitey thing?
Oh my god. Oh shit.
Doesn't matter.
Cube. Yeah, cube. Cube is for you, it's for me, it's for him, it's for them. It's for the little mouse down there. A little mouse, come to the cube, okay.
What is it for?
The cube is for that's a really weird question. What is it for?
Yeah, that's what my dad says about art.
Oh right, okay, what is it for? Okay, let's think about it in that way.
I mean, I don't mean to be leading.
No, it's
but
good. It's a good question. It just really makes you think, that question. The cube makes you think about stuff. I don't really walk away from the cube thinking, oh, that was great and I'm going to bed now and I'll do something different tomorrow. I walk away from the cube thinking, oh, I'd like to do that. I want to do that as well. Or it's very, 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 very inspiring in a way that, like tonight for example, I didn't really know what was going to happen. I was celebrating something and it turned out that it was just me celebrating on my own, which is fine. And there's loads of different places I could go to celebrate on my own in Bristol, but there's probably only one place I could sort of hang out with, well, I don't know who, and that's the cube, because I could just turn up and sort of, it doesn't matter if I don't hang out with anybody because it doesn't feel unfriendly. It's not like going to Showcase where you'd feel really weird going somewhere on your own, or the canteen or somewhere. Oh, actually the canteen's an exception, or I don't know. So I came out for a date with myself and I had the best night I've had with myself for a long time. Not because I was with me, but because I was at the cube. That's the best way I can say it. Really.
That's great. And the last question, and then there's some little bonus bits, but the last question is, where are you going? Which sort of in these questions, the you can be you as part of the cube. So you could think about where the cube's going, or where you're going, or where, you know.
I tell you what's really interesting, and this is because I'm a musician and I try loads of different ideas and things out, and I'm always having loads of different kind of ideas, and not many of the projects actually come to fruition. But one of the best ways of imagining so many of the different projects I've done, and 2 of them I've actually tried here at the Cube, is when I'm thinking of something and I'm playing my guitar, or I'm pressing a button on something, or I'm producing something on a computer, or I'm playing with somebody else, I'll think to myself, how would this work at the Cube? A bit like some kind of litmus test, but also because I think it's just such a fantastic performance space as well. And it doesn't have a big dance floor, but I've seen people dancing here, and sorry, I'm just looking at the dance floor now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really need it. It doesn't need it. It's just... And the good thing about it is, because it doesn't have a dance floor, you listen to music in a really different way. I mean, I keep talking about music and not film, but I'm sure we'll get loads of people talking about film as well. But from a musical perspective, it's a very excellent place to listen to music, because it's just... there is no dance floor, so you just listen. So things get heard in really different ways. You just hear things like this. Tonight, this guy there's a guitarist and singer-songwriter dude who played the electric guitar. It's not really my thing, but I really listened tonight just because of the venue. Normally, I probably wouldn't have really. Yeah.
Sorry, there was a camera thing, but
Yeah.
that's.
And I think because of the nature of the venue, I just took the music in a different way.
Did you see the first guy?
I missed the first guy.
He was. It was like a laptop thing, but his sounds were like really
Yeah.
precise. He'd sort of obviously kind of It was a really good environment to listen to that.
There was Hoggy used to play loads of electronic stuff when I first came here, and it was my first exposure to it. And it got me listening to lots of stuff in really different ways. Partly to do with the influence of what I was listening to something fresh and new, but also like the context of how it's heard. The context of listening to stuff in the Cube is very different. I don't think there's anywhere else like it. It's gritty, and it's just so warm and friendly and lovely at the same time. Yeah.
And the bonus is, can you make a silly face and make a silly noise?
Cube!
And could you draw? Well, sorry, I'm directing again. I keep doing that. Draw a cube.
Cube for me, cube for you, cube for me, and you, cube.
That's it. Great.
Excellent.
Oh,